Olivia Bessemer, a spinster aged 73, is charged with unlawfully and maliciously administering to Carmel Bessemer a poison, namely sodium arsenite, with intent to injure, aggrieve or annoy the said Carmel Bessemer between the 3rd of December 1973 and the 28th of January of this year, contrary to Section 24 of the Offences Against the Person Act 1861. To this charge, she has pleaded not guilty. Carmel is the prosecution's opening witness at the Crown Court. Mr. Martin O'Connor appears for the prosecution. Mr. John Lloyd appears for the defence. Mr. Justice Mitchener presides.
My lord, Mrs. Bessemer has only recently been discharged from hospital. I'd be most grateful if she'd be allowed to give her evidence seated.
Yes, of course, Mr. O'Connor.
I would prefer to stand.
Well, it's up to you, of course, but it might be in your best interests if you were seated.
No, thank you.
Oh, well, if at any time you wish to be seated, just say so.
Thank you, my lord.
Your full name is Carmel Mary Bessemer. You are 38 years of age and you live with your husband, Roland Bessemer, at the Lodge, Clive Gardens, Fulchester. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is it right that your husband's aunt, the accused, came to stay with you and your husband over a period beginning on the 28th of November last year?
Yes.
Now, before we deal with this visit from the accused, I'd like to ask you some questions about your marriage and the circumstances leading up to it. Where did you first meet your husband?
At his home in Herefordshire.
How long ago was that?
6 years ago.
Would you tell the court how you met him?
I was working for a firm selling domestic appliances, and I called at his aunt's house where he lived.
You were a saleswoman?
I did a little bit of everything in the firm.
Were you successful in what you were selling?
Well, not up until then, but he bought nearly everything I had left in the van.
And what did you have left?
Brushes, lavatory brushes.
I see. You were not married at this time?
I was separated from my husband.
And your future husband, Roland?
He was not married.
How old was he when you met?
40.
And after that first meeting, what transpired?
He wrote to me, care of the firm, suggesting we meet again.
Did he ask you to call again?
No, he suggested we met elsewhere.
Why was that?
He didn't say, but I soon found out. His aunt didn't like his walking out with anyone.
Yes, you did say that your future husband was 40 years of age at this time.
Yes.
And he lived alone with his aunt?
Yes, she brought him up from the time his parents died when he was small.
Now, yes, after subsequent meetings with your future husband, what transpired?
We became engaged when my divorce came through.
When did you first meet his aunt?
About 3 months before we were married.
What was her attitude towards you?
She had no looks on me at all.
Why was that?
Well, it was quite obvious. I was Irish, I was Catholic, I was divorced. She didn't think me a fit person for him in any way, and she regretted the day she ever let him out of her sight.
Just a minute. Did she say that to you?
Yes, my lord.
In so many words?
In exactly those words.
Yeah.
What was the first thing she ever said to you?
She said she was surprised he brought me to the front door.
What did you think she meant by that?
That I was riffraff. She said that too.
How would you describe her manner?
Rude.
Rude?
Yes, rude.
I see. Could you elaborate, please?
Hoity-toity. She made you feel like you weren't properly dressed, like a bit of a schoolgirl. Then...
Yes?
Rowley told her about my divorce, and she said terrible things about my religion.
As a consequence of that first meeting, what did you say to your future husband?
I said I'd been married before, and it hadn't worked out, and I didn't want to go through all that again. I said perhaps we'd better think it over.
So that as a consequence of meeting the accused, you drew back from the thought of marriage to her nephew?
Yes. He didn't seem to want to stand on his own 2 feet. She was smothering him, and I said so.
Smothering him?
Yes.
What was his reaction to what you told him?
He said we'd move away when we were married.
Now, when you did get married, did your husband's aunt attend the wedding?
She did not.
Where did you live when you were married?
We came to Fulchester, where my husband obtained a teaching appointment.
Yes, now, that would be when, please?
5 years ago.
When did you next see the prisoner?
We'd been married a year, and there was no word from her. And I said it was ridiculous. My husband wanted to sell a cottage left to him by his parents, and he had to go back there. I told him he ought to go and see her. I said she couldn't have long to go, and as she'd done so much for him, at least he ought to go and see her. I'd stay away if necessary.
And what transpired?
He went to see her. He was selling the cottage to put down on a house here, and she said she'd come to see it, as I wasn't to be trusted.
But matters were patched up between you subsequently, and eventually the accused came and stayed with you.
She came once a year.
Yes. On how many occasions would that be?
4.
Did you ever visit her?
No, the welcome wasn't returned for me.
Was she critical of your marriage?
She didn't say much until my husband became ill. He suffers from asthma, and he began to lose time from school.
Yes, he's a primary school teacher.
Yes.
Did your aunt say anything about his asthmatic attacks?
It was the same story. My fault.
So she was critical of your marriage?
Her presence in her room is a criticism of everything living.
Now, I'm sure we're going to hear a good deal from my learned friend about your neighbours. I'd like to ask you about the period beginning on the 28th of November last year, when the accused came to stay. Had there been any change in your circumstances?
My husband had been ill for a month.
Yes, but had there been any change in your life otherwise?
There had. We live in what was once the gate lodge of an estate, but now there are houses built all around, and we back onto the yard of a big house.
Yes, that will be the Grove.
Yes.
In what way did this affect you?
Well, Mrs. Graham Wallace, who lives there, began to breed gun dogs, and they had kennels built next to our wall.
How did this affect you?
From November through December, the dogs were left out at night, and their barking went on and on from first light. It was criminally wrong to keep dogs in the open in a built-up place.
Mrs. Bessemer, don't give us your opinions. Just state what you saw or heard.
Yes, my lord.
Did you take any steps to remedy this aggravation?
I did everything I could. I went to see Mrs. Graham Wallace, I went to see a solicitor, I went to the town clerk's department, even the police in the end.
With what result?
Nothing.
The barking continued?
Yes.
Now, your husband was ill at this time.
Yes?
When your husband's aunt came to stay with you, what was her reaction to this barking?
I'm sure she found the noise as awful as we all did.
But she stayed, nevertheless.
She did, for 3 months.
She ever stayed this long before?
Never longer than a week. She said she'd stay to Christmas because I'd found a job and Rolly had to be looked after. Then after Christmas, she fell in the bath and hurt her hip. Oh, she said she hurt it.
Did you doubt this?
She refused to have it x-rayed.
So how long did you stay in all?
3 months.
Did she require nursing?
At first she hobbled about a bit, but she soon got over it.
Now, what was the state of your own health at this time?
In December, I became ill myself.
Previously, you'd been in good health.
All my life.
What change occurred in December?
Well, I had some sickness. Then I had pains in the stomach, and I suddenly became very run down.
Did you consult anybody?
Dr. McCran, our doctor, and he referred me to Fulchester General Hospital, where I was admitted as a patient soon after. Observation, they said.
Now, I understand that you were in hospital for a week.
Yes.
What effect did your stay in hospital have on your health?
Improved at once. Within 3 days, I was my old self again.
And when you came out of hospital, did you continue in good health?
No. In January, I collapsed again and was admitted to hospital immediately.
With what result?
Well, this time there were various tests made. And on the 27th of January, I was told they had found traces of arsenic, and the matter had to be referred to the police.
My lord, there will, of course, be medical evidence on this matter. At this point, were you aware of any poisonous substances being in your house?
No, I was not.
Did you yourself ever buy or keep poisons in the house?
No, I did not.
What were the symptoms of your illness?
Well, I was sick a lot. Then I had these pains. Then my fingers kept tingling at the tips. I had no appetite. I couldn't cope with things. Then my hair became dry and it started to come out. I was like a wet blanket around the place.
Did you suffer pain?
I did. I vomited blood many times and I lost over 2 stone in weight.
We shall be hearing from your doctor later. Perhaps you could tell us what you yourself thought at this time.
I thought I was going to die.
You were put in fear of death.
Yes, or shall we just say you were in fear of death?
I was.
What did you yourself think was the matter with you?
Well, I didn't know what to think. I'd never been like it before. I thought, well, nerves or ulcer. I just couldn't explain it. And then when my hair started to come out, well, I couldn't sleep at night. If I took a sleeping tablet, I couldn't keep it down. I got no sleep for days.
Did the accused pass any comment on your condition?
She did. She said it would be better for me to go.
To go?
Yes, to go away.
Well, did she have anywhere in mind?
No, she just wanted to get rid of me. She said I was no use to them.
Where were you when she said this?
I was in bed ill. It was what she wanted.
What was?
Me out of the way. And the two of them carrying on just as before.
Do you mean before you got married and took your husband away from the accused?
Yes.
Would you have left them?
I might have. If they hadn't told me at the hospital I'd been dosed with poison for weeks.
Olivia Bessemer, a spinster of 73, has pleaded not guilty to poisoning her nephew's wife, Carmel Bessemer. Yesterday, the prosecution established that Olivia had never approved of her nephew's marriage, but the defence say this was no more than a natural prejudice in an elderly woman to a divorced person of different ancestry and religion. The prosecution have established that Carmel's general practitioner thought at first that Carmel's stomach pains indicated an ulcer, but when she was admitted for the second time to hospital, there was no doubt that she had been administered poison over a prolonged period of time. The prosecution continues its case with its fourth witness, Carol Day, a dispenser friend of the family.
What did you think of the accused's request for an encyclopedia of dangerous substances to press flowers in?
Well, at the time, I thought it was unusual, but there were some old editions in the shop, so I obtained one and gave it to her.
When was this?
3 days later.
May the witness be shown Exhibit 4, please. Is that the volume you gave her?
Yes, that's the volume. It has the stamp of the firm.
Thank you. Now, when you gave it to her, was she alone?
No, her nephew Roland was there. I'd brought a book for him from the library.
Did the accused make any reference to Martindale or what it contained?
No, she just thanked me.
What did she say?
She said that Roland, her nephew, had always been very lucky with his friends.
Was Carmel Bessemer present?
No.
Did Miss Bessemer make any further reference to Martindale?
No.
Or say anything about poisons?
No.
She mentioned pressing flowers again?
No.
You had no positive reaction to her reason for wanting this particular volume.
Well, I didn't know what to think. She seemed the sort of person that would say something like that just to prove she knew something about your job, to show off.
Now, apart from that first meeting, am I correct in thinking that she never used the word poison again?
Yes.
Now, would you lift up the volume again and turn to page 1374, please? Will you read to us the heading underlined there and the paragraph at the bottom of the page? What is the heading?
Strychnine and Nux vomica.
Thank you. Now will you read what is marked in pencil?
The symptoms are mainly those arising from stimulation of the central nervous system. The first signs of poisoning are tremors and slight twitching of the limbs, followed by sudden convulsions, at first intermittent but quickly involving all muscles.
Thank you. Now will you read the last two sentences, also underlined?
Death from medullary paralysis usually follows the second to fifth seizure. The fatal dose by mouth is usually in the region of 100 milligrams.
You will see there are no fewer than 4 poisons underlined. Were those 4 poisons marked by you?
No.
To the best of your knowledge, were they marked in the volume when you gave it to the accused?
Well, I don't recall. I didn't look them up specifically.
I'm sure you didn't. Now, one last question. In view of what we've been discussing, if someone said to you they're not on the register, what would you understand by that?
Well, I would take it to be a reference to the register of poisons.
And if they were not on the register, what would they be?
Substances for which you don't have to sign the register.
Thank you, Miss Day.
Miss Day, would you take the volume up again, please? Can you tell me how much it weighs?
I couldn't be sure.
Is it heavy?
Yes.
Heavy enough for pressing flowers?
I should think so, yes.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Day. No further questions.
If I understand you correctly, the accused made no further reference to you about poisons, apart from that very first time she spoke to you.
No, my lord.
And she didn't mention pressing flowers again?
No, my lord.
What was her manner? to you, that very first time she spoke to you?
Well, she was just the same as she always was, sir. Rather haughty.
Did she mention any problem that she or her family had?
No, my lord.
Oh, my lord, it's not my intention to challenge this witness.
Yes, I'd rather gathered that, Mr. Lloyd. Mr. O'Connor, do you wish to re-examine?
No, my lord. Thank you.
Oh. Well, then you can go, mister.
I call Albert Wayne Harris. You are employed as a shop assistant at the corn stores, Widlington, near Fulchester.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall Monday the 3rd of December?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what happened.
You want me to say about the lady?
Yes.
She came into the shop.
Who?
Her.
Yes, well, tell us what happened, please.
Well, she was limping. She had a stick. I was fixing some trowels which were tied on the rack.
Fixing some what?
Trowels, sir.
Well,
I was up a ladder. I said, hang on, I shan't be a tick. She said, you come down here this instant.
What did she say next?
She said she wanted some rodentine, sir. 4 packs.
What is rodentine used for?
For rats.
It's lethal for rats.
Well, I've got someone who eats it like chocolate, but it's supposed to be poisonous.
Will you tell us what the accused said next, please?
Well, I gave her the 4 packs of rodentine, and she said, it's all right. It's not on the register.
What did you understand by that?
Well, I didn't know what she was talking about, sir. I'd only been working there a few weeks. I was on the buses before that, and it didn't...
What happened next, please?
Well, she took the 4 packs and told me to open the door for her, sir. She had a taxi waiting.
And she took the 4 packets of rodentine with her.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harris. Now, did anything else happen when this lady was with you?
Yes, sir. She gave me a tip, sir. I'd never had a tip before.
You mean no one had ever given you a tip before?
Not in this shop, sir. They're a title lot in
yes,
Widlington.
Mr. Lloyd, I don't...
Yes, my lord. Sorry. Well, am I right in thinking, therefore, that the combination of my client's manner and the tip that she gave to you left an impression on you of a customer you would hardly forget easily?
Yes, sir. I haven't had a tip before, nor since.
Does your lordship have any questions?
No, thank you. You may go, Mr. Harris.
I call the last witness for the prosecution, Detective Inspector McGovern. Mr. Bessemer ran inside and left you standing at the door.
Yes, sir.
What happened then?
Well, I heard voices, sir. A woman's voice, which I now know to be the accused. She said, if they've come about the dogs, they're much too late. The damage has been done.
Damage has been done.
Yes, sir.
What happened next?
Well, the accused came to the door. I explained who I was and said I would like to talk to them. She said, you'd better come in. And she showed me into the front room. I was at this time rather anxious to interview Mr. Bessemer, but he disappeared into the interior of the house. I asked after him, and the accused said, I'll deal with matters here. I said I wanted to speak to him first, and she replied, it's inconvenient. I said I'd come about a very serious matter, and I insisted on speaking to him.
Then what happened?
Mr. Bessemer came back into the room and began to cry. And poor Carmel, he said. And he said it over and over again. And the accused said, she has brought you nothing but trouble.
Meaning Carmel had brought Mr. Bessemer nothing but trouble.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Bessemer protested, and the accused said, once a slut, always a slut. Then she turned to me and she said, can't you see this is a private matter? Come back at a more appropriate time.
And what did you say to that?
Well, I said I had reason to believe that arsenic in some form had been administered to Mrs. Bessemer. And did either of them know of any dangerous poisons kept in the house? The accused replied, where on earth do you think you are? I said there was no doubt about the poisoning and repeated my question. I received no satisfactory reply. At this moment, the front doorbell rang. And I said, I expect that will be my colleague. The accused then stood and said, take him with you and come back at a more convenient time. We will have an explanation then.
What happened next?
Well, Mr. Bessemer let in Sergeant Bell, but the accused told me to leave. I told her she did not seem to understand how serious the matter was, and I asked Mr. Bessemer's permission to search the kitchen. He agreed, but the accused attempted to obstruct me.
And What did she do?
Well, she stood in the passage, barring my way, sir. And then she said, "You have been told."
You have been told.
Sir?
What did she mean by that?
Well, I have no idea, sir. Presumably that it was inconvenient for me to search the kitchen. I said I'd received Mr. Bessemer's permission and asked her not to obstruct us. She grew very agitated, and in view of her age, I was at a loss. I instructed Sergeant Bell to telephone for a woman police officer, and the accused said she would report me. I attempted to reason with her, and Mr. Bessemer said it must be some dreadful mistake, but the prisoner again refused to let me pass into the kitchen.
Were you apprehensive for her at this time?
Yes, sir, I was. She was in such an agitated state that I thought she might have a seizure of some kind.
At any rate, you finally searched the house. What did you find?
In the kitchen cupboard, an open packet of rodentine rat poison containing an arsenical substance. And in the prisoner's bedroom, a copy of Martindale, a pharmacist's handbook.
Will you look at Exhibit 4, please? Is this the volume, Inspector?
Yes, sir, it is.
Did you notice anything about the book?
Yes, sir, I did. 4 poisons toxic to humans were scored with a pencil and their symptoms underlined.
May be shown Exhibit 5, please.
This is the rodentine I found in the kitchen, sir.
Did you finally charge the accused?
Yes, sir, I did. And after a formal caution, she said I would hear more of it, and again said that she would report me to my superiors.
Did she make any denial of the charge?
No, sir, she just kept repeating over and over again, "You have been told."
Did she mention the dogs next door at any time?
No, sir.
Did she offer any explanation as to how Mrs. Bessemer was poisoned?
No, sir.
Did you put any questions to Mr. Bessemer in the presence of the accused?
Yes, sir, I did. I asked him if the accused had prepared any foodstuffs while his wife was at home, and he replied she always did the soup for lunch. The accused said nothing.
Did you make any further investigations?
Yes, sir, I did. I found the prisoner had purchased 4 packets of rodentine on the 3rd of December, but despite my questions and an intensive search, 3 packets remained unaccounted for. When I asked the accused about this, she made no reply.
Am I correct in thinking that the accused gave you no help in your investigations whatsoever?
Well, that is correct, sir. In fact, when Sergeant Bell attempted to search her bedroom with myself, the accused broke a glass water jug and held the broken portion offensively to his face.
Now, Inspector McGovern, Sergeant Bell is not a small man, is he?
No, sir, he's not.
In fact, he weighs over 17 stone, doesn't he?
Well, I wouldn't know about that, sir.
Well, he is large, isn't he?
Oh, yes, sir, he's large.
Well, let me put it to you that for a frail old lady of 73 to hold up a water jug to 2 men of your size and half her age, well, that hardly constitutes a serious and offensive threat, does it?
To obstruct a police officer in the course of his duty constitutes an offence, sir.
Were you frightened?
Well, as I have said, she was so agitated that I was alarmed on her behalf.
Yes, that does you credit, Inspector. But let me take you back to your first entry to the house. Would you agree with me that your appearance at the Bessemer's front door was formidable?
No, sir.
Likely to induce fear?
No, only wrongdoers need fear a police officer, sir.
Well, your presence caused Mr. Bessemer immediately to become agitated and to start to cry.
Well, I can't really think it was my appearance that caused Mr. Bessemer to cry, sir, but rather the information I brought.
Very well, then. You pushed your way into the house.
No, sir, I did not push my way in. I was invited in.
And you found yourself confronting the accused?
No, sir, the accused was confronting me.
Yes, and from what you've said, on 3 separate occasions, she told you that she would report you to your superiors.
Well, that is correct, sir, yes.
Yes. Why?
Well, it's quite normal for suspected persons to make allegations against arresting officers, sir.
It's a matter of opinion, Inspector.
Oh, dear. Well, if it is a matter of opinion, Mr. Lloyd, it is also an answer to your question. And one which those of us with experience of the criminal courts can fully understand.
Well, with respect, my lord, I think that your observation cannot but prejudice my client's case.
If, as I take it, it is part of your case that Detective Inspector McGovern and his fellow police officer behaved improperly, then perhaps we could have questions to that purpose, and less speculation as to their weight and appearance.
Yes, my lord, I want to make it perfectly clear that I'm not suggesting that a police officer of Inspector McGovern's experience behaved improperly.
Oh? Well, then perhaps we can get on.
Yes, very well, my lord. Inspector, you've just heard me say that I'm not suggesting for a moment that you broke any rules.
Thank you, sir.
But from the moment you appeared on the scene, your whole bearing was such as to convey to these unfortunate people that one of them must be guilty of a crime.
I really can't answer that, sir.
Why can't you?
Because I don't know what they were thinking. As far as I was concerned, I was investigating what might have been a case of attempted murder.
Yes, exactly. And don't you now think that was rather foolish of you?
No, sir.
Inspector, the accused has reached her allotted span of 70 years and 10. She's sitting at home when her clearly agitated nephew comes in, saying there's a policeman at the front door saying Carmel's been poisoned. What are we to do? She goes to the front door, and there you are, with attempted murder written all over your face. Now, don't you think that's formidable?
My concern was to find out the truth, sir.
Yes, about an attempted murder.
About information passed on to me regarding arsenical poisoning.
And you'd immediately put 2 and 2 together, and you'd said attempted murder.
The medical facts were that poison had been administered over a period of time, and not on one isolated occasion.
And did that rule out an accident entirely?
Well, as far as I was concerned, sir, I was investigating a crime.
Well, why do you think that no explanation was given to you? No explanation whatsoever.
I think my presence surprised the accused, sir.
Yes, I'm sure it did. But why was she not given a chance to give you an explanation?
She was cautioned and asked if she had anything to say. She made no reply.
Well, do you think a formal caution means anything to a 73-year-old lady?
Well, I asked her several times if she had any comment to make on the matter before I cautioned her, but apart from the statement I've described, she wouldn't answer me.
Well, can I put the matter to you in a different light? Perhaps she thought you were stupid. So stupid as to have imagined a crime when none had been committed.
I don't know what she thought, sir.
Was her manner haughty?
Oh, yes.
Disdainful?
Yes, sir, very.
Did she strike you as being a superior person?
No, sir.
No, I don't mean that she was of superior intelligence, but that her manner was superior.
It appeared to me to be deceitful, sir.
Oh. She was trying to deceive you. A 73-year-old lady.
Yes, sir, she was trying to prevent me from getting into the kitchen.
Yes, but why?
Well, I can only conclude it was an attempt to remove whatever evidence might have been in there.
Oh, you have no doubts about that?
That was my impression at the time, sir, and it still is.
There's no single reservation in your mind that you and Sergeant Bell didn't make complete fools of yourselves?
Not one single reservation, no, sir.
Very well. Now, will you tell us again where you found the opened packet of rodentine?
It was in the kitchen cupboard, sir, on the top shelf.
Yes. Was it on its own?
No, sir, there were other foodstuffs with it.
Foodstuffs. Now, did this strike you as being unwise to keep rat poison on the same shelf as foodstuffs?
I had no opinion on that, sir.
Well, what was underneath the top shelf, on the shelf below?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
There were half a dozen packets of dehydrated soup and 1 box of kitchen salt.
Was the salt opened?
I can't recall, sir.
Were any of the soup packets opened?
I think one was, yes.
And the packet of rodentine?
Oh, that had been opened, sir, but had been resealed.
Resealed?
Yes, sir, the opened edge had been folded over.
Well, then, would it not be more accurate to say it had been folded over rather than resealed?
Well, I formed the impression that by folding it over, it was effectively sealed from the air, sir.
Yes. Did you examine the foodstuffs?
Yes, sir, and it was sent for chemical analysis.
And did the foodstuffs reveal any trace of any arsenical substance?
No, sir.
Did the cupboard reveal any such trace?
Yes, sir, there was a trace on the shelf below.
And what did you say was on the shelf below?
More foodstuff, sir. The soups.
Yes. Now, was there any way in which matter, and I say matter with care, could have found its way from the top shelf, unassisted, to the bottom shelf?
Yes, sir, there was a gap in the shelf through which matter could pass, yes.
Yes, thank you. Now, at this stage in my career, I don't want to take on the functions of a detective officer, Inspector.
I shouldn't advise it, sir.
I'm grateful to you. But I'd like to ask you, it is quite possible, is it not, that arsenical substance from an opened packet of rodentine could have found its way accidentally from the top shelf to the shelf below?
It's not beyond the bounds of possibility, no.
Oh, you admit that?
You ask my opinion, sir.
Well, why then did you not consider this simple possibility as an explanation for the whole matter, that it was an accident?
Well, I could understand it happening accidentally once, sir. Perhaps twice. But for it to occur daily over a period of 14 days, I don't think so. And then again, if it were an accident, one would suppose that All the persons who ate the contaminated food would suffer, and not just one.
Yes, well, let's examine that statement, Inspector. But before we do, is it not a fact that the amount of poison which found its way into Mrs. Bessemer's stomach was probably very small? A trace was the expression used, and certainly not enough to kill anyone.
That is correct, sir, and for that reason, we did not frame a charge of attempted murder.
You're still on murder, Inspector.
No, sir, I'm not on anything. For that reason, we did not frame a graver charge.
Now, you said that you ruled out the possibility of an accident, but you've also said and admitted that the foodstuffs could have been accidentally contaminated on 1 or 2 occasions.
No, I said it was a possibility.
Yes,
sir.
1 or 2.
Yes, sir.
Well, why not 3 or 4?
Well, in my view, that is beyond the bounds of possibility.
Yes, you've also said that you couldn't understand why only 1 person was affected by the poison.
Oh, no, sir, on the contrary. I said I thought I could understand and framed a charge accordingly.
Yes, well, let me put it to you this way. Is it not a fact that some people have stronger digestive systems than others?
Well, you had the opportunity to cross-examine medical witnesses, Mr. Lloyd.
Yes, my lord. Inspector, now the fact of the matter is it not, that there was a perfectly rational explanation forthcoming for this entire matter? Namely, that the prisoner purchased Rodentine for a specific purpose, and that purpose would have been explained to you if you had not presented such a brusque and formidable appearance.
Well, I don't agree, sir.
Well, perhaps you'll tell us why no mention was made to you of these wretched dogs next door.
I have no idea, sir.
Well, did you know that Mrs. Carmel Bessemer had complained to the police about the incessant noise and they'd sent her away?
No, sir.
Did you make any inquiries about the dogs, Inspector?
No, sir, I hadn't even heard about them.
Well, let me put it to you again, then. Why do you think they were not mentioned to you?
Well, I'm afraid the answer's the same, sir. I have no idea. I asked repeatedly after the rat poison, 3 packets of which had gone missing, and no explanation was forthcoming.
And nothing was said to you about contaminated meat being thrown over the wall in an attempt to silence the dogs?
No, sir, they weren't mentioned, and neither were the dogs.
And if the accused had said to you, now look here, there's been a dreadful accident, but we were at our wits' end, something had to be done about these dogs. I bought the poison, put it on the meat, and threw it over the wall. Would you have accepted that as an explanation?
I don't think so, sir.
Why ever not?
I would have wanted a much fuller explanation of the medical report.
Yes, you keep returning to that, Inspector, but have you never heard of accidents happening?
Not over such a period of time. No, sir.
Have you ever given anyone the benefit of the doubt, Inspector?
Yes, sir.
But not on this occasion. You didn't wait for an explanation.
Well, there was ample time for the fullest possible explanation, sir, but nobody mentioned dogs. But even if they had, I wouldn't have accepted it, especially after being obstructed.
Obstructed? Oh, yes. You were obstructed by an elderly lady who spoke to you in a haughty, disdainful manner. And isn't that what annoyed you most, Inspector?
No, sir. And I have been obstructed before.
Well, that obstruction seemed very important to you. No further questions.
You are an experienced police officer, Inspector. Did you behave in any way improperly?
No, sir.
My lord, I've already said that it is not suggested that the inspector behaved improperly in any way, but that his presence, albeit innocently, was intimidating to an elderly and rather eccentric old lady.
Yes, Mr. Lloyd, I'm sure the jury will have taken your point by now.
Inspector, we have heard Dr. Griffiths say that he had no hesitation in informing the police of the matter. After having visited the house and having spoken to the accused, did you have any doubt as to what course of action you should pursue?
No, sir. I was satisfied in my own mind that a crime had been committed and a prosecution was brought accordingly.
Thank you, Inspector. I've no further questions, my lord.
Thank you, Mr. McGovern. You may go.
That concludes the case for the prosecution, my lord.
The case of the Queen against Olivia Bessemer will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court when Bessemer herself is expected to give evidence. Olivia Bessemer has been charged with administering poison to Carmel Bessemer, whose marriage to her nephew she opposed. When the police called at the house in response to a hospital report proving beyond doubt that Carmel Bessemer was suffering from arsenic poisoning, Olivia Bessemer is alleged to have obstructed the police and offered no explanation of the medical findings. She has denied the charge and is now giving evidence on her own behalf.
Your full name is Olivia Jane Bessemer, and you live at White Horses, Wixton Lane, in Hereford.
It is, and I do.
How old are you, Miss Bessemer?
I am 73 years of age.
Thank you. Now, will you describe the circumstances in which your nephew Roland came into your charge?
His mother and father were killed in a fire in 1929. He was an orphan, and I was all he had left.
Yes, I understand that this fire was due to an act of arson involving the burning of hayricks, and that Roland was saved from the blaze at the age of 2.
Yes.
Now, were you employed at this time?
Yes, I ran my father's seed business.
Now, when you took it upon yourself to care for the child, did this involve you in any sacrifice?
Yes. I was engaged to be married, but my fiancé wouldn't have my sister's child, so I refused to marry him.
Why was that?
He...
Yes, I do understand that this is very painful for you, but I wouldn't ask the question unless I thought it was absolutely necessary.
Oh, he knew that Roland's father was an epileptic. There was a good deal of ignorance at that time about the condition, and he had fears.
Fears?
About the child's future.
But you had no fears?
There was no question but that I should do what I thought to be my duty.
And you were in your late 20s at this time?
I was 28.
And your engagement?
I put an end to it.
Now, were you now able to carry on your employment?
I wasn't employed, but I couldn't continue in the business.
And did this affect your material circumstances?
I had far less money than before, but I wasn't poor.
Of course not. In fact, would I be right in saying that you were richer in spirit?
You would. I had my child after all.
And you brought Roland up by yourself?
Yes, and I had his surname changed from Masterton to my own.
And you brought him up without any help?
Well, I still had money coming in from the business, but we had to pay people.
Yes, I understand. What I meant was, did you have any help from any other relatives, from any male relative?
None whatsoever.
Nobody wanted Roland?
No.
Now, how long did he live at home with you?
18 years until college.
And how long was he in college?
2 years, and then an extra course.
3 years?
Yes, and then he returned home to me.
Now, I understand he had a teaching appointment at a school nearby, in fact, the school that he'd attended himself.
Yes, he hadn't far to walk, and that was good for his chest.
And again, he lived with you until his marriage?
Yes.
Would you care for a glass of water?
No, I'm only anxious to complete my evidence and get the matter over.
Yes, I quite understand. Now, Miss Bessemer, it's been suggested that you smothered Roland with your affections. I'm sure you'll have a different view of that.
Well, when a woman brings up a child alone, she can't be sure that everything she did was the right thing. I did the best I could. I'm sure I did wrong things.
And good things?
Oh, that is for others to say.
Now, it's also been suggested that you were hostile to your nephew's marriage from the outset.
That's true. In the first place, he deceived me by seeing her at all.
Yes, it's also been said that you didn't attend the wedding, you didn't send a wedding present, and in fact that you severed relations with him altogether for a time.
All true. It was more than I could bear.
What was?
To see him meddling with that girl.
Yes, but am I also not right in thinking that you did try to patch matters up?
Oh, yes, I tried.
Not very successfully.
No.
But you visited them 4 times. Why?
Roland wanted it. I used to take little presents. He liked farm eggs, and I never went without a chicken.
Yes. Now, if you were to cast your mind back on the 3-month period when you stayed with them, what would stand out in your mind?
His asthma.
Had he never had asthma before?
Never so frequently.
Does anything else stand out?
The dogs next door.
Yes. Now, perhaps you could tell us about that.
It was simply dreadful. They never stopped. From first thing they began, and not only barking, but whining and fighting amongst themselves. And that girl went out every day and came back hopeless.
You mean Mrs. Bessemer. What was hopeless?
She was. And the authorities. Nobody paid any attention whatsoever.
So, having decided to take matters into your own hands, you purchased the poison, you sprinkled it on the meat, and you threw it over the wall into the kennels.
Yes.
Now, why didn't you tell your nephew or your niece?
They'd given up. They weren't capable of helping anybody.
And how did you throw the meat?
Through the bathroom window. I dropped it down over the roof of the kennels.
Did anyone see you?
I took great care that they shouldn't.
Now, I want to take you back to the visit of the police officers. Something had happened between the time that you tried to poison the dogs and the time that your niece was admitted to hospital for the first time. What was that?
I fell in the bath and hurt my hip.
Yes. With what result?
I couldn't get about so easily.
Could you get up the stairs?
I tried to keep it down to once a day.
You're going up the stairs?
Yes.
Yes. Now, what about the kitchen? Could you get in there easily?
I couldn't bend down to clean it.
Now, your niece was in hospital at this time. What about Roland?
Oh, I would never let him go into the kitchen.
Even when you couldn't manage yourself?
He'd make more mess than it was worth.
Now, why then did you obstruct the police officer when he wanted to go into the kitchen?
To prevent him going in there.
Yes, but why?
It was in a dreadful mess. Things were all over the place.
Your bedroom?
I couldn't make the bed properly. I couldn't turn it. And my underclothes were everywhere. If I dropped something, I couldn't bend down to pick it up.
Now, how was it that the names of these poisons came to be marked in this volume?
I marked them off. If I could have got hold of them, I would.
For what purpose?
To silence the dogs. I would have done anything to them.
And how did you know about this volume, Martindale?
My fiancé was a chemist. I used to press flowers in it.
Yes, thank you, Miss Bessemer. Will you wait there?
Miss Bessemer, I'd like you to cast your mind back to the time when your niece Carmel was about to be admitted to hospital for the first time. An ulcer was suspected and she was lying in bed awaiting the ambulance. It was in early December. Do you remember?
Yes.
So 3 of you were in the room. Your nephew, his wife, and yourself. What did you say to his wife?
I said it would be better for her to go.
Did you mean to hospital?
No.
What did you mean?
Simply to go. Anywhere. Where she came from.
And leave you alone with your nephew once more? Back in Herefordshire, perhaps?
Yes.
You admit you said to this sick woman, lying in bed awaiting the ambulance, go and leave us alone. Forever, you meant.
Yes.
Well, matters between this woman you described as a slut and yourself are hardly patched up then, were they? Am I right in saying that the moment Carmel came home from the police station and said she'd tried everything to silence those dogs was the first time you'd gone into the kitchen to help out?
Yes.
Previously, you'd stayed out?
Yes.
Am I right in saying that at this time you now decided to help in the kitchen regularly?
Yes.
And a few days later you asked the dispenser to let you have a copy of Martindale?
Yes.
And a week after that you bought the poison?
Yes.
Yes. Now, you told the court you put this poison, 3 packets of it, onto the meat, and you threw it over the wall. Now, isn't that a pretty hefty supply? Pretty hefty? Well, what happened to the dogs?
I don't know.
Don't know? Weren't you watching every morning?
My nephew was ill.
Didn't you get up at first light, hoping to see them stretched out?
My nephew was ill.
But surely, having gone to the length of obtaining 4 packets of rat poison, sprinkling it on the meat, then throwing it over the wall, surely you weren't uninterested?
It rained very heavily.
On what?
On the poison.
Destroying all trace?
Evidently.
You say evidently with some confidence. What meat did you use?
Meat?
Would you describe it, please?
It was scrag.
Scrag ends?
Yes.
Did you order it especially?
It came.
Just like that?
No one in the house was eating very much.
I can understand. Now, supposing you had a piece of meat the size of my hand. How much poison did you put on it?
It went on for days.
I beg your pardon?
The barking, days and
Yes,
days.
yes, we've heard that. My question was, what proportion of poison would you put onto a piece of meat, say scrag end the size of my hand?
It is important that you should answer.
I've told you what I did.
You must answer the specific question.
You have been told.
The counsel has asked you a specific question, and you must answer it.
Perhaps I can help, my lord, by making it simpler. Did you put the 3 packets of rat poison on 1 piece of meat?
I sprinkled it liberally.
The 3 packets?
I sprinkled it liberally.
On 1 occasion, on 1 piece of meat?
You have been told.
Miss Bessemer, you have said that you bought the rat poison in order to silence the dogs. Now, that is, as I understand it, an essential part of your defence. This being so, counsel for the Crown is perfectly entitled to ask you how you did what you said you did. Now, perhaps we could have the question again.
Yes, my lord. Did you open the 3 packets of rat poison and pour their contents onto 1 piece of meat?
You have been told.
And then you threw the meat over the wall.
Yes.
How big was the piece of meat?
It was adequate.
Was it this big? Or was it this big? I put it to you that you were lying, and you did nothing of the kind.
You have been told.
Indeed, I have not. If I give you 3 packets of rat poison and 1 piece of meat, will you show me exactly what you did?
No, I will not.
Miss Bessemer, you keep saying you have been told, but we haven't been told. Now, if, as you say, you threw the meat over the wall to silence the dogs, well, then you must tell us how much poison you put on it, when, what time of the day, and so on. I want to be quite fair to you, but as I have said, counsel is fully entitled to ask you these questions, and you must tell us in precise detail what you did. Perhaps we could have the question once more.
Well, my lord, as far as the prosecution is concerned, we have already had our answer.
Put the question once more.
Miss Bessemer, if I give you 3 packets of rat poison and 1 piece of meat, will you show me exactly what you did?
No, I will not. You have been told.
Miss Bessemer, you have come into this court with the intention of making a determined attempt to deceive us. And as far as the poison is concerned, you have told us nothing but lies. My lord, members of the jury, 3 undisputed facts have been put before you. Carmel Bessemer was suffering from arsenical poisoning which had been introduced into her system over a period of weeks. The prisoner had bought an identical poison, 4 packets of it, and only 1/2 packet remains. Thirdly, no one else in the house was poisoned, only Carmel Bessemer. To offer circumstantial evidence is itself not unusual. What is unusual in this case is the age and bearing of the prisoner. Here we have a woman of consequence and character, of strong will and determination, a knowledgeable, positive woman capable of sacrifice and having, no doubt, many admirable characteristics. The prosecution case is that all these traits of character became bent on a criminal purpose because, strong as she was, she could not suffer the competition of another woman. Nor could she bear to see her adored nephew suffer because of what she thought to be the inadequacies of his wife. Having seen her both give evidence and refuse to give evidence, can you doubt that Inspector McGovern is telling the absolute truth when he says that he himself was confronted by her? No, members of the jury, we are not dealing with frailty, but arrogance, a monumental arrogance that required Carmel Bessemer to be driven away, not murdered. The amount of poison was too small for that, but made so ill that she'd be quite incapable of looking after her husband. Ask yourselves, members of the jury, what are you to make of a woman who says to you as you are lying on your sick bed, awaiting the ambulance to take you to hospital, it would be better for you to go altogether. Now, if ever there was a declaration of intent, this is it. And once again, members of the jury, this is not disputed. Now let us move on to the matters of the dogs next door. You heard me ask her, and indeed you heard his lordship direct me on several occasions to repeat the question. If you say you bought the poison to silence the dogs, tell me how you did it. Well, it's a simple enough question. It's even simpler if you're describing something you've done. How big was the piece of meat? How much poison did you put on it? And what were the answers? I have told you what I have done, and you have been told. These are not answers, but evasions, and we've heard them before. Inspector McGovern was given the same treatment. Why did she not answer him with a simple description of what she'd done? I put it to you that it's because, in truth, she did nothing about the dogs next door. The poison was bought for another and far more evil purpose. Upstairs was the very book which describes in detail the symptoms of arsenical and other poisonings.
And so, members of the jury, let me remind you that the evidence against my client is purely circumstantial. The prosecution have brought forward no witness, no evidence from anyone who saw Miss Bessemer behave in a criminal way, no witness, no evidence from anyone who heard my client threaten to use poison in a criminal way. Now, the prosecution have made much of the missing 3 packets of rat poison, but my client has said quite clearly that she sprinkled them liberally on a piece of meat and threw it to the dogs next door that had been plaguing her with a barking. My friend suggested this was a lie. But where else could the 3 whole packets have gone? Quite clearly from the medical evidence, they didn't find their way into Carmel Bessemer's body because there was officially a trace found there, not 3 whole packets worth. And it's vital to remember that my client, when I asked her if anyone saw her throw the meat, she said, no, I took care that they should not. Now, if she was aware that poisoning dogs is a wrong thing to do, and you must take care not to be seen, would she not then have taken enormous care if she was poisoning a person? She would hardly go ordering the poison and tipping the shop assistant so she wouldn't be forgotten, and then order a book of poison from a friend of the family, and then leave them both lying around. I mean, ask yourselves, if you were poisoning someone in the same house, would you leave the packet of poison in the food cupboard, staring the victim in the face every time they opened it? Now, finally, members of the jury, may I respectfully remind you that my client, Miss Bessemer, is not on trial for her character. Haughty, disdainful, superior, even monumentally arrogant she may be, but none of these things are criminal. May I remind you of another side of her character, of a woman who in her late 20s broke off her engagement to devote her life to a 2-year-old orphan boy who nobody else wanted. A woman who said, no woman who brings up a child alone can be sure that everything she did is the right thing. I did the best I could. I'm sure I did wrong things. When I asked her about good things, she said, well, that's for others to decide. Members of the jury, is that really a dishonest, criminally minded person speaking? I put it to you that the prosecution have failed totally to prove beyond all doubt that Miss Bessemer behaved dishonestly or criminally, and I must ask you to acquit my client.
Members of the jury, it falls to me to direct you as to the law and to remind you of some of the evidence in this case. Now, the accused is charged with unlawfully and maliciously administering to Carmel Bessemer a poison, namely sodium arsenite, with intent to injure, aggrieve, or annoy the said Carmel Bessemer. Now, it is the duty of the prosecution to prove each and every element of their case in such a way that each one of you is satisfied as to the defendant's guilt. Now, if they fail to do so, then you must acquit the defendant. So, what are the elements of this offence? Well, first you must be satisfied that it was the defendant who administered the sodium arsenite to Carmel Bessemer. Now, it is in the accused's own admission that she had in her possession a substance which contained sodium arsenite, namely the 4 packets of rodentine. And you have heard her explanation as to why she was in possession of this substance, and it is up to you to decide whether or not you accept that explanation. You will remember the accused's total refusal to answer pertinent questions put to her by counsel for the Crown about the way in which she allegedly administered this poison to the dogs next door. And you may also be helped by the accused's attitude to the 2 police officers, her attempt to prevent them entering the kitchen, because she said the kitchen was in a mess. But you will remember that it was in the kitchen cupboard that the last part-empty packet of rodentine was found. Then there was her attempt to prevent them entering her bedroom from a sense of modesty. But here was found the pharmacist's handbook, which the accused said she used for pressing flowers. Now, if, after you have considered all the evidence in this case, you come to the conclusion that it was in fact the accused who administered the poison, then, before you can convict, you must be entirely satisfied that she did so maliciously and unlawfully, and not, for example, by accident. And you heard this suggestion put by learned counsel for the defense to the detective officer. It may well be that when you have decided the first and most important question, namely whether it was the defendant who administered the poison, then the second point will cause you little trouble in your deliberations. If you are not satisfied that it was the accused who administered the poison, then of course the second point will not arise, and you will acquit. Will you now please retire and consider your verdict?
All stand. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the defendant, Olivia Jane Bessemer, guilty or not guilty of maliciously administering to Carmel Mary Bessemer a poison with intent to injure, aggrieve, or annoy?
Guilty.
Is that the verdict of you all?
Yes.
On the 1st of December 1930, the prisoner was found jointly guilty with another, John Howard Masterton, of maliciously administering to Sarah Masterton, her sister, a poison so as to endanger the life of Sarah Masterton, and she was sentenced to 12 months' imprisonment. Since that date, there are no further convictions.
You knew.
It is neither my duty nor my inclination to say one single word which would have the effect of aggravating the horror of your position. Taking into account your advanced age, the sentence of this court is that you go to prison for 18 months. Take her down.
Court will rise.